Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot, and in this video let's have a look into the engine failure in the ZIBO Boeing 737 in X-Plane 12. So we've got an engine damage on the left engine at V1 prepared, and with that we are going to depart. So do you want to save these settings? Yes. Okay. So we are ready to go, standing in Hamburg, runway 33, and I would say we don't waste any time, but instead get our airplane flying. So all the procedures I'm showing in this video are somewhat of a simplification of the real-life procedures, for the simple reason that in real life we're sitting there with two pilots, while over here I am alone. Okay then, ready to go, take off. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust.
Airspeed low.
Well, that's interesting. Yes, the airspeed is low because we are initiating our takeoff run. Okay, takeoff thrust set, indications normal.
$80 knots.
Check. Rotate. Okay, engine failure, but we still have thrust available. Good.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Positive rate. Oh, here we go.
400.
Okay, normally 12 degrees of pitch would be quite good, but looks like we need a lot less over here. On at 12 degrees, you should more or less fly. Okay, state malfunction. So we have 0 and 1. Engine fail flag showing, positive and 2. Looks like an engine severe damage, engine number 1. Okay, that's correct. Heading select and then continue on the present heading, climbing 3000. Engine severe damage, memory items. So, auto throttle, if engaged, disengage. Well, that's disengaged itself. Thrust lever, engine number 1, confirm. Okay, number 1 confirmed. Close. Okay, engine start lever, engine number 1, confirm. 1 confirmed. Cut off. Okay, engine fire switch, engine number 1, confirm. Number 1 confirmed. Pull. So, if the firelight is illuminated, it's not. Okay. So, buck up. Let's just about follow the flight director for now. Very slow acceleration, that's what the real plane would do as well. So, flaps 1. Speed checks. Do not descend. Okay, flight director is doing good work here. Flaps up. Speed checks. Laps up. Okay, getting there. Flaps up, no light. Level change. So, set max continuous thrust. (97.1). Okay, increasing thrust on number 2. By the way, why can I not select MCT? On, here we are. That's better. Okay, increasing thrust number 2. Okay, that looks good to me. So, Command A. Alright.
1,000 to go.
So, engine fire, severe damage, separation, non-normal checklist. Condition, one or more of these occur. Engine fire warning, airframe vibration with abnormal engine, or engine separation. Yeah, we have 0 and 2, that is a sign for engine separation, so we do have that. Okay, auto throttle lift engage, disengage. Disengage. Thrust lever, engine number 1, confirmed, closed. Number 1, confirmed, closed. Engine start lever, engine number 1, confirmed, cutoff. Number 1, confirmed, cutoff. Engine fire switch, engine number 1, confirmed, pull. To manually unlock the engine fire switch, press the override and pull. Okay, that's pulled. If the engine fire switch or engine overheat light is illuminated, that is not the case. Okay, so hold the checklist here. So let's do 220 knots. We should need something about 75 to 80% of thrust in order to maintain a good speed. And 75 indeed seems quite good. Okay, let's start a right-hand turn onto a heading of 050, giving ourselves a little downwind here. Okay, continue with the engine severe damage separation checklist. So choose one. High airframe vibration occurs and continues after the engine is shut down, or high airframe vibration does not occur or does not continue after the engine is shut down. Well, I don't feel any, so it did not occur. Go to step 7. Isolation valve switch closed. Isolation valve closed. Pack switch left side off. This causes the operating pack to regulate to high flow in flight with the flaps up. Okay, left pack off. APU air switch off. And that is the APU bleed air switch off. Choose one. APU is available for start or APU is not available. It is available. Okay, APU start. And when the APU is running, generator switch affected side on. So we got a little bit of time now to assess the situation now that the APU is just about starting. So I would say we can start setting up for an immediate return. We are very close to Hamburg, so that is totally fine. Also, something I just about want to try is how much trim you actually need. I find it quite difficult to trim in flight simulators, but let's give it a go. Okay, so we need about 5 units to the right. Or that is at least what we should need. So let me set that and go off the rudder pedals. Okay, 5 units right. And that should give us the control column almost level. And indeed it does, so that is quite good. The trim requirement there is really quite good. Let's use a little bit left rudder trim just to be sure we actually get the control column level. A little bit more. Okay, looks good. Now the airplane is trimmed out. Alright, so when APU is running, generator switch left side on. So when we put the left generator on, this is going to pull power from the transfer buses for a short while. So that is going to trip the autopilot A. I want to see if this works in ZIBOs, so let's give it a try. Yep. Okay, autopilot A on again. It's really only for the power transfer. In real life, you'd switch to command B, then put it on, and then switch to command A again. Okay, so when APU is running, APU generator switch on the left side on. Did that, go to step 11. With no fuel in the center tank, fuel quantity on the operative engine side should be less than the quantity on the failed side. If not, suspect a fuel leak, do not balance fuel. So let's see. Operative side is the number 2 side, and indeed there is less fuel in there. Around about 300 kilos, that is pretty much what I'm used to from the simulator. Okay, fuel balance. So, thrust feed on, bright then dim, and low side must go. So that means we're going to switch off the pumps on the right hand side. Okay, 2 fuel pressure lights, master caution fuel, that's as expected. So, where is our airport? On the right hand side there. Let's get a little bit closer. Right hand turn 150. That way we are just about flying within the area of the airport. Okay, transponder mode selected TA. This prevents climb commands which can exceed single engine performance capability. Well, yeah. TA. Isolation valve switch after the fire has been extinguished, auto. This ensures bleed air is available to both wings if wing anti-ice is needed. Okay, we don't have a fire, no overheat light, the fire switch is not illuminated, so isolation valve switch, auto. And here we go. Okay, plan to land at the nearest suitable airport. Note, do not use FMC fuel predictions. Go to the one engine inoperative landing checklist on page 7.30. Okay, so let's do a little bit of troubleshooting there. We have a severe damage. That means we are not going to attempt to do a restart. What we can quickly do is this, and we're going to keep the engine start switches in continuous. Okay, after takeoff checklist, air condition and pressurization 1.6, maintaining and set. This is expected. Okay. Altimeters 1013, maintaining 3000. After takeoff checklist complete. Okay, good. So, we aren't going to attempt an engine restart since it is a severe damage. So we can straight away start with the one engine inoperative landing checklist. So let's set up a holding at the present position. Like so, execute, LNAV available, LNAV. Okay, then let's go ahead with the one engine inoperative landing non-normal checklist. Condition, landing must be made with one engine inoperative. Plan a flap 15 landing, set VREF 15 or VREF ICE. Note, if any of the following conditions apply, set VREF ICE, which equals VREF 15 plus 10 knots. Engine anti-ice will be used during landing. No, not expected. Wing anti-ice has been used any time during the flight. No, we didn't. Icing conditions were encountered during the flight and the landing temperature is below 10 degrees centigrade. That's not the case either, so we're going to use VREF 15 and not VREF ICE. Okay, check the non-normal configuration landing distance tables on the Performance in-flight QRH chapter or other approved source. So we are going to use our EFB for that. Maintain VREF 15 plus wind additive or VREF ICE plus wind additive on final approach to assure sufficient maneuver margin and speed for go-around. The minimum wind additive is 5 knots. When engine anti-ice is needed, use on the operating engine only. And that's the checklist complete except deferred items. Okay, so you have control and I am going to start a little setup over here for an immediate return. Interesting, this reads Düsseldorf. We took off in Hamburg. Why did it shift my departure airport? You can still see the Balsam 3 Golf departure here. I absolutely had Hamburg in there. No clue why I did that. But okay, in that case we can just go ahead and change the destination. I'm typing something. This should override the message in there. Okay, I got no idea why that happened. So, destination, Hamburg. So, arrival, ILS 23. Transition from Hamburg VOR looks about fine. Okay, execute. Let's see where we are. Okay, that's alright, like 15 miles out from the final approach. So let's quickly clean this up. Okay, that is like what we want. Okay, we don't need anything here. QNH 1013, though we don't really need that, but let's just about do a full setup. Runway 23, and we're going to use a 10-mile ring and a 4-mile ring. However, 4 is only for reference over here. Okay, so flap 15 landing, gonna use that, and we are going to use auto brake 3, like so. Alright, frequency, 111.5, course is 228. 228, 228, and then we can use 115, like that, and like that. Alright. So that's that part. Oops, didn't mean to turn the EFB off. It's kind of confusing to me that the home button turns the EFB off. That's obviously not how an iPad works, but... Okay, that's still from my old flight. So, we are in Hamburg now. And we need an approach chart ILS 23. Perfect. Okay, minimum for that is going to be 262. It's refreshing how quickly you can set this down. Okay, 262 is set. Alright. And I think that is about everything we need. So let's go over the QRH one more time. Set VIR 15. We have done that. Check the non-normal configuration landing distance tables. I did that on my EFB here at home. Maintain VIR 15 plus wind additive or VRFIs. The minimum wind additive is 5 knots. So we don't have any wind, so that means final approach speed is going to be 161. When engine anti-ice is needed, use on operating engine only. Okay, understood. Checklist complete except deferred items. So, I would say we can set heading 150 again. Let's just about clean up the OFP, or the flight plan in the FMC, I should say. Like that, and then 226. Extend the center line. Okay, that's good. Perfect. So, let's start with the deferred items descent checklist. Pressurization, land out 100, anti-ice, off, approach briefing fuel, discussed, ES null bugs, checked and set. Deferred items descent checklist complete. So, next up we have additional go-around thrust. Choose one. Additional go-around thrust is needed, or additional go-around thrust is not needed. It's always going to be needed for us. So, go to the no engine bleed landing below. When the airplane is below 10,000 feet and the use of wing anti-ice is not anticipated, configure the pressurization system for a no engine bleed landing. Wing anti-ice off, off, isolation valve switch close, close, bleed air 1 switch off, off. Caution, do not open the APU bleed air valve if the engine fire switch is illuminated. Okay, we're not going to open it. Well, we are going to open it because the fire switch is not illuminated. So APU bleed on, left pack switch auto, auto. So bleed to air switch off, bleed to air switch off, and with that we are configured. Okay, go around procedure review. Do the normal go around procedure except use flap 1, maintain VIR 15 plus 5 knots or VRFIs plus 5 knots until reaching flap retraction altitude. Limit bank angle to 15 degrees when airspeed is less than VIR 15 plus 15 or VRFIs plus 5 knots, or the minimum maneuver speed, whichever is lower. Accelerate to flap 1 maneuvering speed before flap retraction. Okay, that is all understood. So, deferred items approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments, cross-checked, approach aids, checked and set. Approach checks complete. And theoretically we should have done a frisk before, but I'm fine with that. Frequency 111.5, 111.5, rings, runway 2310-4, items, India, hotel, hotel, whiskey, and that is what we are receiving on both sides. Standby instruments set, courses 282, 282, and with that the deferred approach checklist is actually completed. Okay, let's start slowing the airplane down, and to do that we are just going to vary the thrust very slightly. So let's take about 65%. Can immediately see how there is some aileron input needed because of the different trim situation. And in this situation, however, I'm just going to do that with a rudder. And do have a look into how small rudder inputs I need and how large the airplane reacts to that. Certainly something to keep in mind. Okay, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps. Well, in the Airbus we say immediately. So, we have an additional deferred item in the checklist, which is ground proximity flap inhibit switch to flap inhibit. They got the flap inhibit to flap inhibit. So, speed is coming back nicely. And with that, all that remains is the deferred landing checklist. Okay, let's do what we do in the recurrent simulator all the time. And that is autopilot off. We've got to fly the single engine approach manually. Makes things a little bit more interesting for sure. Okay, turn right heading 200, cleared ILS approach. Flaps 5. Speed checked. Okay, let's get that speed back. Set 75% N1 again. And with that we should be more or less stable. With a 75%, the airplane should fly pretty well. Around the flap speeds. Okay. So, cleared ILS runway 23. Approach is armed. Bollock capture. Runway heading 228. Okay, a little bit less thrust in order to get our speed down. So what's our fuel doing? It's balanced. Okay. When it's balanced, we turn the remaining 2 pumps on. Now the fuel should be used more or less equally from both sides. I am saying more or less because, in theory, all fuel pumps have the same output pressure. But in real life, there is of course a little bit of a variation allowed. And for that reason, it can happen that if you have the crossfeed open and all the main pumps running, it can happen that one pump is overwriting all the others, and then you're only using fuel from that single tank. Okay, glide slope alive. So 75% thrust should work rather well. And indeed, you can see it does. Glide slope capture, gear down, flap 15. And if everything goes right, we don't need to change our thrust setting at all when we intercept the glide slope. And indeed, look at that. It stays exactly where it is. And our speed is correct. Okay, I overshot the glide a little bit, so let's get right back onto it. Obviously for that I need to reduce my thrust a little. But it might just about be an option to let the speed slightly increase there as well, as long as it stays within the stable criteria. Okay, what's that? Master caution, air conditioning, off-scheduled descent, yeah, that's fine. Give me 2000, happy with that. And our cabin goes down to 0 as well. Don't need to do that, it would be fine to accept the off-scheduled descent, because all it means is that the cabin is returning to the original departure field elevation. And actually that is exactly what we're doing, so that would have been fine as well. Okay, speed brake is armed. Then let's go ahead with the deferred items landing checklist. Start switch, operating engine continuous, and that is continuous. Recall checked, so that's ELAG, drive 1, yep, associated. Okay, speed brake armed green light, landing gear down 3 green, down 3 green, auto brake 3 set, and we've got 3 set, flaps 15, 15 green light, 15, 15 green light. And landing lights on, landing checklist complete. So we are back on the glide.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
Checked. Okay, let's use a little bit more thrust. Round about 75 should be what we should need. But our speed is stable as it is. Well, then we're not gonna touch it. Okay, looking good.
500.
500, continue.
400. 300. Approaching minimums.
Correct.
200. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, we're down. So, speed brake up. I don't get reverse, I don't know why. Here we go. Okay, thrust is normal. 83%.
80 knots.
Tracked. Manual brakes. Auto brake disarm. Okay, here we are. That's the exercise completed. So, what do I think of the ZIBOs single engine handling? I honestly tell you, I am positively surprised. This handled pretty good. So, the pitch and power numbers were pretty much spot on, exactly what I would expect from the real airplane. And the trim requirements as well. Especially the trim is something that I am pleasantly surprised to see, because over in the Microsoft Flight Simulator world, getting a correct rudder effectiveness is just impossible, but over here it worked really well. And the overall rudder effectiveness seems to be much, much better in this than in Microsoft. In any case, that was a very good handling, and the airplane did exactly what I would have expected it to do. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, everyone. I do hope you found this one interesting. If you did, do let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you liked the video, let me know what you think about it in the comments, and for more, subscribe to the channel. And if you really, and I mean really love my videos, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below, or to welcome you as a channel member, giving you early access to new videos before they're released for everyone else. In the meantime, thanks for watching, I see you all again on the next one, and hope that you're going to enjoy whatever you're flying at this moment. Thank you very much, and see you next time.